It's that time of year, we're all headed to the garden centers, and one thing that I want to make sure you're putting on your list to purchase is mulch. We want to make sure that we are mulching our garden, and I know many of you are like, well, I just did it last year and it's disappeared and I don't like buying it again and again, but really that is the good thing. That means that mulch is breaking down, adding organic matter into your soil. So there's a lot of mulch options out there, and I just kind of wanted to go over a few of those with you here. So we've went and purchased a few different ones that you commonly find out on the market. These first two are pretty similar, so they are kind of a shredded mulch here. The big thing about these that they claim is the fact that they are red and black mulch. So these are your colored mulches, and I would say steer clear of these. And if you are using them, make sure to use gloves, because they kind of will also leave a bit of a stain on your hands too. But the problem with these mulches is not only are they just artificially sort of dyed, but the fact that that dye also makes them really dark, and so it actually increases the heat of your soil around there as well. So I would steer clear of these dark dyed mulches. But the next ones we have here are pretty prominent mulches that we often see. So we have your cypress mulch. So again, this is kind of a shredded mulch. A lot of people like using this because it's going to sort of mat a little bit more, and it claims to not float. It kind of depends on how much water we get and how quickly it comes down. But it will sort of interwoven a little bit more and make that mat in your garden. So sometimes you might see that it's still there in your garden. You might just fluff it up a little bit if you have this. The next one we have here is our pine bark nugget mulch. So you can see it's more of a chunks. And so this will float. Again, it's not going to mat together or anything, but it might give you a little bit more of a polished look if that's what you're going for. Especially if your kind of backyard has a lot of pine trees, of course, this might fit a little bit more. Now, the one we kind of like to use a lot of times is just this cedar mulch. Of course, we have a lot of eastern red cedar trees around here, but this is just a shredded cedar mulch. Again, it's going to give you that nice kind of matted look to put in your garden. Now, all of these are often used in what we call like perennial beds and around trees. Now, if you're looking to mulch in something, maybe containers or your vegetable gardens, you might want something that's a little bit softer and it's going to break down a bit sooner. So here we have cotton hulls. So cotton hulls is a great addition for some of those areas that you're going to be using your hands a little bit more regularly or planting more regularly, or maybe you're working with smaller plants like seedlings. This cottonseed hull will work nicely too. Now it can sort of mat down, so again you might want to kind of fluff it up a little bit, but this is a nice mulch to use as well, because it's just going to break down from season to season much faster than some of these other hardwood cedar mulches. Now, the one that I would steer clear of, unless you're using it for some design purpose, so a lot of times we're looking for a kind of a look more than the purpose of mulches, which really mulches insulate that soil. They help reduce weeds from germinating and growing by kind of shading them out. They help conserve that water because we don't have as much water loss. Now, some people use rock mulch. You might remember from back in the day when they used like white marble rock. Now you see sometimes more of this red lava rock being used. You can even see sometimes pea gravel and things like that. A lot of times this is for a different aesthetic. The problem with this is this isn't going to necessarily break down and add any value into your soil. Again, rock is going to not hold moisture, and so it's also going to add heat to that soil surface. And the one thing about rock is once you put it on the ground, like, you are going to have it there for a lifetime. If you've ever bought in a house where the previous owner has put this down, you'll know, even though you might not see it out there, you're going to be finding it in that soil as you dig through it. So this is the one thing that I would maybe think twice about before you go and actually put down rock mulch. So these are kind of some of the typical mulches that you see in the garden. Now, when you're putting mulch down, you want to make sure you're putting about 2 to 3 inches of mulch throughout your garden. So that's going to give you a nice profile to, again, help insulate that soil and allow for less weeds as we head into the summer.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.